Hey, staffingpreneurs, how are you? Today is Wednesday. I'm trying to turn my phone off. Today is Wednesday. It's our Q&A day. I hope each and every one of you are having an absolutely phenomenal day. I am in Mexico, and I can promise you right now, my camera, the lighting here is not as amazing as I would like for it to be, but I am super duper 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 fired up and excited that each and every one of you are here. And I want to know what's your name, where you're chiming in from. That is imperative. What's your name, where are you chiming in from? And also, what's your niche? What's your niche, so that I'll know how to address any of the questions that you have today. Hey, Tamara. Hi, Latasha. I can't see everybody's name. Wait, Joseph from Georgia. Nice to have you here. I hope you're doing well. I'm so excited about today. Y'all keep chiming in and tell me what's your name, where you're chiming in from. But I am so excited today because we literally just had an amazing week. We had over 21 staffingpreneurs get started in Staffingpreneurs Academy. Oh my gosh, where's my applause? I've got to get some applause going on here, right? What? That is such a big deal. Cornell from London, Kimberly from Georgia, Sheila from Stone Mountain. Look at me, I'm all fired up over here. Jasmine from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Who else do we have? Sheena in Texas. She says, I own an agency for former offenders. I love that. We have Lambert from New Jersey. My Joan, I love you, Joan. I'll see you at the Scale Up call today at 3. Hey, Tony, I miss you too, Pooh. I enjoyed my vacation, as you can tell. I am well rested and even more fired up. And Mexico is absolutely beautiful. The people in Mexico are absolutely beautiful. And I am super duper fired up today and ready to make some amazing things happen. So listen, the first thing that I ask is, if you are fired up, I want you to give me some hearts, some likes, some anything, just to let me know that you are feeling my energy, because I feed off of your energy. And I'll say right now that I totally appreciate any type of virtual love you're throwing my way. If you're watching from YouTube, do me a favor and subscribe right now. You will not regret it. All right. And y'all keep coming in. What's your name and where are you chiming in from? I want to know. Oh yeah, Abby, this is on. Yeah, were you at Mexico, Cornell, last month? The weather here is so beautiful. So beautiful. Jerry in the Philippines. Hi, my Jerry. I know exactly who that is. Michelle Samuel here from St. Lucia in the Caribbean. Oh, yes. Fire. I love that. Listen, I really want to talk to you all today about so many different things. I do want to open up the lines for questions. I really need to open up the lines for questions. If you've ever thought about starting your own niche recruitment and staffing business, or if you have your own niche recruitment and staffing business and you're trying to figure out how to make it work, I really want to support you in that process today. Hey, Jasmine. I am Jasmine. Listen, all love. Trina is in the house, Dallas, Texas. David from Round Rock. Johnetta, you know I love you so much. That's what I'm talking about. There's some good things here. Cornell said, I've been awake since 4:30 yesterday and I'm all fired up. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We need some real entrepreneurs on this live stream right here that understand the type of work that it takes to really bring an idea to life. Can I get a hello? Come on now, high five me. Hello. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about the true entrepreneurs. Sasha, you're back from the UK. I'm so thankful that you're here. Okay, so can I get into kind of some of the things that I want to talk about today? Because we have, like I stated, we have 21 new staffingpreneurs. And that is a huge, huge, huge deal, because that means that 21 entrepreneurs literally decided to invest in themselves. They decided that they were going to take a chance. Step out on faith and say, you know what? I'm going to invest in me. I'm going to invest in my community. I'm going to invest in the industry that I love. And I'm also going to invest in creating a legacy for me and my family. And that is a huge decision to make. It's one thing, I was telling one of my clients last night, it's one thing to have an idea. It's another thing to actually execute the idea, right? It's one thing to have an idea, but it's something totally different to be able to take that idea and to actually bring it to life. And then once you get that idea and you bring it to life, then the next thing is, can you actually sustain the idea? Can you actually sustain the idea? And this is something that a lot of people have a challenge with, right? They get fired up. Oh my gosh, yes, I want to start a staffing business or another business, right? I'm fired up, D. Let's do this. And then it's like, oh, but I don't have, or oh, but I don't know. So I just want to make it very clear. The O is the piece that lets me know, all right, so who am I really dealing with, right? I really want you all to be in a space where you're thinking about this business and you're actually moving forward with the business. And then once you launch the business, I really want you to get into the business. My staffingpreneurs in my community, I tell them all the time, you have to put love in your business. You have to breathe life in your business. And I don't know if you really understand that thought concept. A business idea is that when you structure the business and you put it together and you're at the point where you're launching, all you've done was given birth to a shell. Okay? You've given birth to a shell, but you haven't breathe any life into the business. The way you put life into your business, how you get it to breathe, how you get the heartbeat to flow and to start doing the things that you need the business to do. And this is for somebody in particular. It's a young lady that sent me a message on Facebook, and I'm going to see if I can find it here. That's really for Trina Price. My Trina, that's for you, honey bunny. Like once you get the business set up, in order for it to generate revenue, in order for it to create real social impact, in order for you really, really, really have to breathe life into your business. And how do you do that? You do that by the work that you put in. You do that by the activity and the production that you're creating in your business, by the phone calls that you're making, by the networking that you're doing, by whoever you're meeting every day, literally by having good, positive energy around your business, minus fear, unless you're going to allow fear to motivate you versus to keep you from moving forward in your business. So I just really want to give you I want to talk about this today. I'm going to do something. Y'all can put your questions in there, but I'm telling you right now that I am off of vacation. I had a 9-day vacation. I'm still here in Mexico, and I am so recharged and fired up. Y'all ain't ready for me today. I just got to say, y'all not ready for me today. Okay. Let's get this going. Okay, so I've gotten a ton of questions. Okay, wait. Before I get this going, hold on. I just want to say really quickly, Anthony, I'm so thankful you're here. He says, I really want to get started in this business. I've been working for an agency for years. Then you should really do it if that's something that you want to do. Anthony, there he is in NYC. This is another Anthony in New York City. Thank you for being here, Anthony. This will be the best live you've ever been on in your freaking life. I said it. All right. Ikuri, hey, from Maryland. You know, that's my hometown right there. We'll talk about that in a moment because I want to focus on giving you valuable information just to get your thought mind and your thought process right. Abby said, I'm glad I joined your time Zoom yesterday. It was excellent. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, we have some amazing classes throughout the course of the week. Michelle, now is the time to start. Absolutely. Trina is here and ready for me because she knows that I'm here ready for her. Sending you so much love, Trina. Robert is here from New York City. Thank you so much. And Abby, yes, fear is a killer. So let's talk about this thing. Okay. So first of all, we've got a few types of people on this live. We have people who have an idea. They're saying, you know what? She seems interesting. She's got good energy. She's talking about starting a profitable business. I'm open to hearing. We've got people on this call that have already decided that this is something that they want to do, and they're fiending for information. They're fiending for information, really more for guidance to help them get past the fear that they have of actually starting the business and making it real. Then we have people who have actually started the business, but didn't really start it the right way. And so they have all of these issues trying to get the business to work, trying to get the baby to breathe. I talked to two brothers out of Georgia last week, and I told them, your business is on COVID. I was like, your business is sick and it got COVID, and we need to get some vaccinations going on with your business because you have not figured out the secret sauce. They were laughing. They was like, D, you did not say our business had COVID. Listen, their business had COVID. And some of you have businesses that are on life support, right? They're on life support for many reasons: fear, lack of finances, lack of knowledge. I would say procrastination, lack of time. I can go down the list. It's serious business, okay? It's serious business. But I want to bring y'all back to the other side of the fence, because it doesn't have to be a situation where your business is on life support, right? We can get your business off of life support, healthy and really thriving and being a profitable entity for clients and companies, for companies and candidates all across the globe. Okay. And then some of y'all are in my group right now and y'all like, D, we done took your course. We are on fire. We are making money. We are like, yes, give me some fire. Give me some love, Joan. She's one of those women that's actually doing it in the healthcare space. We've got, hey, Princess. We've got Latasha on the line, who's running in her business, doing her thing. Constance, I know, is watching. Trudy is watching. Tiffany is watching. LaKoya is watching. I know I'm missing people, right? Nicole is watching. We've got people that are in here that are actually doing their thing and that are at the point where they're like, D, I just need that energy and that fire that you're giving me so that I can keep and sustain my business, to grow my business and sustain it. I just want to welcome everyone. It doesn't matter what space you're in. I'm going to talk on so many different topics today. Listen, I got time. I have lots and lots of time. If y'all want to play, I'm ready to play. All right, so let me answer some of these here. We have somebody that's in Facebook that's in my group, I'm sure, that's in North Carolina. Thank you for being here. Anthony, I'm excited that you are here as well. Princess, what do you mean live link, please? Hey, Pooh, I'm so glad to see you. Trina said, fear, false evidence of appearing real. That's some real-ish right there. All right. We've got somebody who's already coming in with questions. And I don't know if I want to start with the questions. Okay. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to hold on to your question because I really want to answer that. And I'm actually going to answer that. I want to just state, if you want to actually call in, because I know we're like texting, you can feel free to dial in at 866-432-8801, press 3, and then we can talk. I'll bring you on live. The world can hear, and I'll answer your questions right then and there. And I really, really appreciate you in advance for being here. Are we fired up? Are we fired up? Okay. All right. I'm trying to get it. Okay. So listen, I get so many questions from people about where do I start? D, I don't even know where to start. I'm going to tell you where you start: a checklist, right? You start with finding a coach and getting a checklist. And I'm not saying that to tell you to come to me. I'm saying that is really your first step. All right. You need to find a coach and get a checklist so that you'll have a clear guide to help you figure out what steps you need to take. When I teach my setup course, it's almost 10 modules in the setup process. Most people think that setup is just legalizing your business. People come to me all the time. Well, D, I'm already up. I've legalized my business. I got my LLC. I've got my EIN. And what else do they tell me? And I got a website. And I say, okay, then you're not fully set up. And they go, no, I really am. And I'm ready for clients. And I'm like, no, you're not fully set up. And then I'll ask, how many candidates do you have? Well, I don't have any. Well, how are you going to get clients if you don't have candidates? Well, why would I reach out to candidates if I don't have any job orders? And I'm like, you need training so that you can understand how this business truly works. Back in 1988, 1989, even I would say in the early 2000s, staffing was really function in a different type of way, right? It used to be in the newspaper, you post your ad, and let me show y'all some stuff, because I like to get into the nitty gritty when I start training. I know this is not a real training class, this is a live, but I definitely, if you know me, you know I am all about sharing the knowledge. And I always tell people, here it is. I'm going to show y'all this. I always tell people they actually think this staffing is like a very simple process. You find a company who wants to hire, then you go and find somebody who needs a job. You introduce the candidate to the hiring manager. He says, yes, I love this person. And voila, you have a placement. And I'm telling you, that is not how staffing works. And if anybody is telling you that's how staffing works, run, 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 run. I'm going to share my screen. My staffingpreneurs know very much so about what I'm about to show them. This is my famous map, okay? This is how the business actually works. And they're still missing some pieces. So I'm telling you right now, if you're in a position where you're saying, oh my gosh, I don't know why my business is not working, do you have a clear understanding of how the business actually works in full? And I think that's the question that you have to ask yourself. Are you really knowledgeable about how the business works? What you have to do in order to acquire talent, and to not just acquire talent, but to secure that talent and maintain the relationships with that talent, right? And to really maintain the relations. I got to repeat that, maintain the relationships with that talent. And the same thing with your client journey. Do you really understand how to acquire employers, how employers find you, how to build that relationship, how to get that meeting, how to get the contract signed, how to sound different from every other staffing agency that's on the planet? Did y'all know that this company actually told me that they get 40, did you hear me? 40 calls a day from staffing agencies. And he said, D, they all say the same thing. To the point, so by the time he gets to call number 30, he's on the point where he's hanging up. He doesn't even want to answer the phone. He's either sending it to voicemail or he's hanging up the phone. Same with the email. Same topic, same conversation. And I really, this is for Trina. I'm going to really dive into Trina's questions, because this is really about when we start talking about, and not just Trina, but there was another young lady, I can't think of her name, who was asking in the Start a Staffing Biz group about how to get clients and different things like that. This is going to be a very important live for you, and it's going to answer a lot of the questions that you have. So stick around, because most staffingpreneurs are literally emailing the client the same thing. Do you have job openings? I'm a staffing agency. Do you have job openings? Or I'm a staffing agency. I want to help you fill your job openings. Please tell me right now, and I want you to just be very realistic. If you got 40 of the same phone calls or 40 of the same emails every day, how would you feel? Seriously, how would you feel? How would you react? How would that feel to you, right? Would you feel excited when you got the next email or the next call? Or would you feel frustrated that it seems that everybody is offering you the same thing? It starts to feel like spam. And many of you that are doing things from a perspective where you don't have training, you don't have coaching, you really don't know what you're doing what you think, and I'm telling you, you're losing. And I already know, because I see the messages. How do I get clients? How do I get clients? I can't seem to figure out how to get clients. We're going to keep talking about that. Okay. We're going to keep talking about that. I want to be super respectful to everybody here. So that Ikuri asked me, she says, I don't even know how or where to start. I answered that question. Find a coach and get you a checklist and start going through that checklist, or find a course and start going through that course. If that course is not detailed, run, okay? Because it takes a lot to start a staffing business. Hey, Annie from Dallas, Texas. I appreciate you being here. Somebody said D is the staffing plug. I love you so much. Erica from Maryland. Hey, boo. I love that. What comes first, the clients or the applicants? Whoa, that's like, what comes first, the chicken versus the egg? I will tell you that the applicants come first if you're starting from scratch. The applicants come first. And let me tell you why the applicants come first. Because, and I hate to use this like the way I'm about to say it, but your applicants are your product, right? And people aren't product, but in this particular business model, that's what you're offering, right? So your applicants are products. So you really can't go to a hiring manager and say, hey, give me a contract, and you don't have anybody in your database at all to be able to fill the contract, right? That's a little scary. And I have a number of staffingpreneurs that have joined my community recently where they didn't have any coaching. They had an idea. They watched a whole bunch of free videos, mine and other people. They went out there and they started calling hiring managers, and they actually got the contract. And then the hiring manager said, I need somebody right now. Do you have somebody right now? And they're like, or they're like, okay, we signed the contract. Where's my people? And they're like, because they didn't have any product. They didn't have any people. They started the business without a product. They thought backwards. When you start a staffing business focusing on the clients first, you are automatically creating a reactive business model. You don't want a reactive business model. You want a proactive business model. When you start off with your candidates and you understand from the core of your heart that your candidates are your capital, that your candidates are there to not just be placements in your business, but to be referral sources for other candidates that are absolutely amazing, to be referral sources for clients, right? Your candidates are your capital. To understand why a client would want to use a staffing agency or why a client would want to hire someone as well. We're going to talk about that, getting that client and understanding why it's important to do some of the things that I'm telling you to do first. Okay? So really, really great question. Okay. I got to go back I got a lot of questions coming. I ain't even getting to talk about what I want to talk about, but that's okay. I want to get the questions in too. Hey, Hot Topic Overseer. I just started in online recruiting as a business last month. The only potential leads are waiting for the restrictions to move or the pandemic to approve. What would you suggest to recruiters in this hard time? Change your niche. Shift your niche. If you have a niche that's not functioning properly during COVID, you don't have the best niche on the planet. And I would say shift your niche. That's what I would say, because COVID does not stop businesses from moving, and it's not stopping businesses from hiring. It's not. My staffingpreneurs are winning, and not just my staffingpreneurs. There are tons of staffing agencies out here that are actually winning during COVID. COVID is an excuse. It's an excuse for people not to move forward. It's an excuse for people not to proceed in their business. Okay. So that's the first thing. If you say to me, well, D, I think that was a little harsh. Change my niche. I don't know about that. Then I would say, then take this time to just build relationships. Don't focus on anything other than building relationships. However, I think that the reason why I didn't say that first is because you don't want to have a business where you're not generating revenue, where you're only building relationships. So that's why I say initially first, just change your niche. Find a niche that's more thriving, where you can, that actually needs people right now. I don't know if you all know this, but in the warehouse industry, the light industrial warehouse industry, they are having a hard time right now hiring people. Okay. They're having a very hard time finding good quality people and hiring them during COVID. Does anybody know why? If you know why, put it in the box. I'm going to give y'all a second. Do you know why they are having a hard time hiring people? Now, this is the light industrial space. We're talking about the space when you go on to CNN and you go on to and read the Washington Post or the New York Times, and they talk about how people in low income areas are losing jobs like crazy and they can't find work. Bullshit, I call it. I'm going to tell you, oh, I got new comments. I'm going to tell you why. Hey, Stephen, I'm going to tell you exactly why that these companies are having a hard time. Unemployment, that check is so fat that the fee that the agencies are paying based on what the client can afford is too low. It's less than what they're getting on unemployment and through COVID. And so my light industrial staffingpreneurs are definitely having a challenging time finding people to show up to work. They've got tons of job orders. They're not having an issue getting a job order. What they're having an issue with is getting people to actually show up. You understand? So that's why I say you want to get into a niche that actually needs your expertise and needs your work. I hope that was very helpful there. Let me just see what else I got here. I got some other questions. Oh, Yan. Hey, Pooh. Hey, darling. Advanced question, but thinking ahead. How do we motivate candidates to limit possible no-shows? That's a great question and one that I have not received before. I feel like a lot of recruiters talk to people in a very transactional manner, right? They talk to candidates very transactionally, meaning I have a job or I have a job open. I want to tell you a little bit about the job and then they move on the process. What they don't do is take the time to actually build a relationship with the candidate. Not just build a relationship with the candidate, but to show genuine interest in what that candidate has done in their work history and what they have the ability to do. Now, that requires longer phone calls or a longer text message string or a longer email. But if you have the ability to build a relationship with someone and they feel like it's a genuine relationship, they're always going to show up. Or they're going to call you and tell you they can't, and for the reason why. And that's because they have a level of loyalty to you. You understand what I'm saying? They have a level of loyalty to you. So relationship building is key in this business, whether you're talking about sales and business development, where you're dealing with employers, or whether you're talking about hiring managers. It is the relationship that you build. And a lot of the larger agencies have lost that touch. They're so interested in the transaction happening so fast that they don't realize that the relationship is the key to the growth and sustainability of their business. Because if one candidate that you build a relationship with actually gets a job that you place them in and or gets a job on their own, if you have built that relationship with them, they're going to refer clients and candidates to you from now until the end of time, and you'll place them from now until the end of time. So it's all about the relationships that you're building. And I would argue to say that I feel like it's way easier to build a relationship with a candidate than it is with a client. It's all about how you present yourself as a niche recruitment and staffing agency. Okay? Can you get a copy of the map? In my setup course, that's where it hangs out at for my staffingpreneurs. So if you are, a part of Staffingpreneurs Academy, you could definitely get a copy of that map. Okay. One of my amazing staffingpreneurs says, yes, I learned the hard way, but when I connected with Dee, it was the best thing that I could have done for my business. I will relaunch in January. High five. I love you so much. And thank you so much for believing in yourself, right? Really believing in yourself and staying with the business, because I really feel like many people don't stay with the business. Okay. Sachin, why are you frustrated? What's going on with you? Tell me, talk to me. Tell me what's going on. Do you recommend investing in a done for you for first timers? That's totally up to you, right? That's totally up to you. It just depends on your situation. So like I have a client right now that I'm working with that has the done for you program. He actually owns a training company in the sterile processing industry. If you're on my YouTube channel, you may have saw the video where I was doing a walkthrough of the new office that we're building out there. So for him, he's training these people. Hospitals and companies are absolutely loving the people that he's training. And then other staffing agencies are coming by and picking them up and getting the placement fee. So he said, no, I want you, D, I want to continue to run my school, but I want you to build my staffing agency from scratch so that I can have both businesses running simultaneously and I can feed off of the people that I'm training and so forth. And so, you know, it depends on your reasoning for wanting to do the done for you. It's a big ordeal. When I do the done for you, I am literally building your staffing agency out for you with a full staff, with all the management tools and everything that you need. So it's totally up to you. You got to let me know how you feel about it. It doesn't matter if you're a first timer or not. Okay. Split fee agreement. Trina's like, get to the good stuff, D. Get to the good stuff. Okay. So the split fee agreement. Let's talk about this split fee agreement. Your split fee agreement termination reasons and how do you handle refunds and fall-offs? Okay, so first of all, Trina, you can't ask about how to terminate a split fee agreement after you've signed the agreement. Okay, that's the first thing, because your agreement should specify what the termination protocol is. So I guess my first question to you is, who presented the split fee agreement? Was it you? Or was it the person that you're doing the split with? That's the first thing, okay? And second of all, in the next time that you have a split fee agreement with someone, I want you to make sure that you have your attorney look over the agreement. Again, a lot of my new staffingpreneurs don't even have an attorney looking over their agreements so that they can make sure that they're being protected in their business. And you have to be protected as an entrepreneur when you're running your niche recruitment and staffing business. Can I get a hello? Can I get a hello? Put a heart, a like, thumbs up, what have you, if you believe that. All right. If you're watching in from YouTube, please subscribe. All right. So that's part one of your response. And termination reasons can definitely be, and again, this is all about how the contract is written out. So I really don't want to speculate, because that's an agreement is something that's created and that you negotiate. So you want to be upfront with the person that you're doing the split fee agreement with and say, hey, you know, this under these circumstances, we have the ability to terminate the contract or not. Most times it's written, right? It says that you have to give a 30-day notice to let the other person know that you no longer want to work with them. All right. And then the next question was, how do you handle refunds or fall offs? So I don't really understand the question of how do you handle fall offs first. So fall offs, they're a normal part of your business. That is a normal part of a staffing business. You have people that come on and you have people to fall off. So how do you handle fall offs? You try to put them in another role, or you replace them 2 times over before that fall off actually happens. And we have a little sheet that we have in the academy that we use that actually monitors the fall offs based on the dates that they came in on the staffing contract, right? So that we can be prepared months in advance to know who's about to fall off this contract and to prepare to either talk to the hiring manager to see if we can keep them on longer, extend the contract, or if we can place them in another area of the company, or if we need to work double time or triple time, knowing that this person is going to fall off, to bring in 2 to 3 other people to replace that person. And I didn't say 1 other person to replace that person. I said 2 to 3 other people to replace that person, because the reality is that you never just want to replace the fall off. You always want to replace the fall off +1 +2, so that you are still growing your business and not just simply sustaining the business. And then how do you handle refunds? I don't know that we've ever, so the client is asking for a refund. So if this is a direct hire placement and the client is asking for a refund, then this all has to do, again, with your contracts, right? This has to do with your legal contracts. So Trina, have you had an attorney look over your contracts? Because it's a guarantee that's involved. And based on your business model, the business model that you choose to have, you define what the refund status looks like for your client. right? Some people, they give a refund back immediately if the candidate gets off the contract. Some people, no, they don't have a refund policy. They have a replacement policy. Some people have a staggered refund policy or replacement policy. This person can work for 3 months, if this person falls off after 30 days and we have a 90-day guarantee, then we'll refund, and we can't find somebody in an additional 30 days, then we'll refund you for the difference of the time that the person didn't work. But I would sit down with your attorney and to really discuss what you feel comfortable with versus what's happening in the industry as a whole. And I just gave you a couple of examples of how people are handling refunds in the industry. Let me go down and see if Trina's talking to me. Okay, she didn't say anything back. Okay, Trina, was that helpful? I hope that was helpful for you. Okay. Oh, yeah, Steven said he's winning. I forgot about you, Steven. I love you. You are winning, Pooh. Yes. Steven is in Delaware, killing it. He said, thanks to D, but it's not thanks to me. It's really thanks to him. Stephen is one of those amazing people who all the odds were against him, but he knew like this was for me. I know I want to impact my community, and he does. And I know I can do this, and he's done it, and he's doing it, and he's going to continue to do it. So high five, Stephen. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you so much. Tiffany Kim, they say, yes, they are. Unemployment benefits. Okay. I don't know. Blatantly honest. Tell me all about that. Oh yeah. Cause I was talking about the unemployment. Crazy, right? People are scared. Marcia's in the house. Yes, they are getting paid more on unemployment, and it is hurting these warehouse, these warehouse staffingpreneurs. It really, really is. And we really have to think about that and from a larger perspective, right? And again, like even with these warehouses, they're dealing with tons of no-shows, literally tons of no-shows, right? And I believe that what has to happen is the actual employer has to increase their budget, okay? In my opinion, the employer has to increase their budget. They have to increase their budget so that the staffing agency can pay more, because we want the staffing agency to pay more than what unemployment is paying so that they can actually get the work done. It's so freaking crazy. So crazy, right? Okay, let's just see. Thank you. Makes a lot of sense. Of course. Okay, Sachin. Hey, D, we had a good chat last time about my niche, which is going to be recruiting high-end information security professionals into the healthcare industry in the U.S. High five on that. That's a fire niche right now. I've heard from other recruitment experts that I should focus my niche in one particular location, for example, like New York, as opposed to the whole of U.S. What do you suggest? So I'm going to tell you, I suggest opposite, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. 10 years ago, it was about locality. Today, it's about niche. If you don't have a niche, then one specific location that definitely makes sense. But if you have a niche, it's going to be hard for you to focus on one location because many companies have many locations across the United States. If you're working with a VMS, they are going to have many companies across the United States. A lot of companies are looking for people to come in and travel across the United States, especially in IT. So I'm not sure who the experts were, and I give them lots of love and respect. But when you actually get into the staffing of recruitment and staffing, even if you're located in Atlanta, your clients may need your candidates to be in Jersey or in Sacramento or in, Kalamazoo, Michigan. And so if you're staying in one location, you're still going to end up going into other locations, period. There's no question about that. So it's very, very, very important that you think niche and not locality, okay? You can think locality as in the United States versus the UK or the United States versus Mexico, right? But not as in New York versus some other place. While your home base can be a specific state, Sachin, right? Your home base could be New York City, but just you need to be aware that you're going to send people out all across the globe, all across the country at a bare minimum. So that's my response to that piece right there. I hope it was helpful. Give me a heart or a like. I prefer hearts because I'm all about that love. If that was helpful for you, not just Sachin, that's everyone. Hey, Laura, I'm so glad that you're here. All right. Lionel's in the house. That is my oldest son, my heart, my heartbeat. Hi, Pooh. Thank you so much. I love you so much. And I love it when you supported me. He calls me creator, y'all. He don't even call me mom. He calls me creator. I love that. Okay. Not frustrated. That was my response to your statement about how the client will feel if they got the same pitch from recruiters 30 times a day. You already know they're going to feel frustrated. And I appreciate you for clarifying that, Sachin, for sure. Tanisha said, how much is your academy? $997, one-time fee. All right. And we do a weekly call that is fire. I'm talking fire. Hey, Lakeisha, where you been at, girl? It's so good to see you. All right. Lord, what about Ben Nader? Tell me about him. What about him? Tell me about him. All right. Attorney. So let's talk. Okay. So listen. I want to talk to you all a little bit about recruitment and staffing and how it's actually structured, because many of you don't really understand how recruitment and staffing is structured, okay? How it's structured. So recruiting is broken down into a number of phases. You understand what I'm saying? Like you have commercial staffing, you have professional solution staffing, and then you have like executive search staffing. There are some coaches out here that solely focus on commercial staffing, and it's nothing wrong with that. And commercial staffing is typically like your admins, your customer service, your warehouse, all of that kind of positions that are under $59,000 a year. That's commercial staffing. Ben Nader is very good at teaching commercial staffing. Okay. Very, very, very good at teaching commercial staffing, the concept of commercial staffing, with some things that I disagree with. And I'm going to talk about some of the things that I actually disagree with that he speaks about. But I love Ben and I love the work that he's doing for the community out there. But people need to understand he focuses on commercial staffing. I focus on professional solution staffing. That's a more high-end level of staffing. Commercial solutions is about volume. In order for you to generate a large amount of revenue, you need volume because your margins are very low. That's commercial. I focus on professional solutions where my margins are so high, I don't need volume, right? So we're in the professional solutions space, and these are positions over 60K, right? And they're more professional, IT, engineering, healthcare, marketing and sales, what have you. Those positions, the margins are higher. I can literally, I can place 4 or 5 people and make 1.5 million a year in the professional solutions. But to make the same amount of revenue in the commercial, I would need to place 25 to 50 people. And there's a big difference. Okay. And so that's what I want to say about that. You need to understand the coach that you're working with. Now, I do help people in the commercial space and the executive search space. I've recruited in all areas. I work with staff. I work labor finders. That was one of my clients. I've worked with many times that have done training, right? So I've done ABC staffing out of Northern Virginia. I've worked with with commercial staffing agencies, and I'm helping 3 or 4 of them build out right now. And many of my staffingpreneurs are. And commercial staffing is for a specific person. Okay. Commercial staffing is for a specific person. Professional solutions is a little bit different, period. It's for someone who has higher goals, who has, in my opinion, this is my professional opinion. It's for someone who comes from a more professional background. It's for someone who does not think in lack, right? Because if you don't think in lack, then it's no way that you would want to take a volume model over a high margin model, right? So I just want to throw that out there. And then you have executive search, where it's typically direct hire. But I will tell you that executive search, there are a lot of companies that hire interim executives. So you can also have a contract piece in with your direct hire model. Korn Ferry is very good at that. They are one of the most successful executive search firms on the planet. And I'm a huge fan of Korn Ferry. Okay. Would love to get in the door with them and do some training as well. Right. So it just really depends on the type of staffing that you are looking to embark on. Some of the challenges that I have with some of the coaches that are out here is, and this is my personal opinion, and this is no shade, so I guess it is shade, because when you say no shade, then it's shade, but I'm really coming from a loving space. I just feel like a lot of coaches prey on Black people. I feel like they prey on the mentality of Black people. I am really being very, very transparent today. I feel like they prey on them, and from a lot of different perspectives, especially from a financial perspective. When you hear a coach say things like, go with the low-hanging fruit, or just go and you don't need any technology, just use an Excel spreadsheet. In my personal and professional opinion, that's not someone who genuinely cares about you and the success of your business. They don't, right? Because you can't grow and sustain a business with that thought process, with a lack thought process. You cannot grow a business thinking in lack. You cannot grow a business moving in lack. You understand what I'm saying? It requires a different version of you to be an entrepreneur. So when I hear coaches say you don't need technology, or if I hear coaches say just go after the low-hanging fruit, and that low-hanging fruit is the lowest amount of the lowest dollar amount that you can get, or if they're telling you to lower your price just to get a client, you don't have the wrong coach. You need to run. You want to be with someone who's not just thinking about you today, but also thinking about how your business is going to expand. Because if you start a business and you start off with the lowest rates possible, right? Just trying to get anything. I just want to get a client. I'm just trying to get anything, right? And you're not really, you're not in a position where you have the ability to grow. I'm telling you, this industry is so small. Companies are going to start pegging you as the cheap person. And it's going to be very hard for you to actually get into a space where you can raise your fees and people will value and respect that. Okay. I was telling one of my clients last night, there are many different, what's the best way to say it? Some of you are my daughter. Let's use my daughter Lyric for an example. She is a Beetle lover. She wants an emerald green Beetle that with the top down with a convertible. I said, why don't you take the Benz that's in the garage? A Benz? Ew, Mom, I don't want that. I want a Beetle. She's a Beetle girl. A Beetle costs what? $13,000. But that is what she loves. I would associate a Beetle with Walmart, okay? With like a Walmart type of store, or a Skechers shoe, or, okay, so there you go. Then you have the next level, which could be Target, or maybe even a step above Target, like a Macy's, right? That's more of your New Balance. That's more of your I said Maxima, I'm old school, but your Honda Civic, right? That's kind of your mid-level type of tier of car. All right. And then you have your Bentley, or I don't even say your Bentley. Let's say your Mercedes Benz and your BMW, your I-Series, your 7 Series BMW, or you have Saks Fifth Avenue, right? Or you have maybe a pair of Jordans, right? That's a whole different level, a whole different type of person is shopping on that level. And then you have like a Lamborghini or Bugatti as a car, or you have a pair of Yeezys, right? Or you're shopping at Gucci. That's a whole different level of person. I want you to understand what I'm saying to you. There are different types of people, just like there are different types of companies, right? Different levels. You have to decide in your staffing business, are you a Walmart? Are you a Macy's? Are you a Saks? Or are you Gucci? Right? You know, are you Skechers, which I love? Are you New Balance? Are you Jordans? Or are you Yeezys? right? Are I do this, put a 1 in the box if you understand what I'm saying to you. Put a heart in the box if you understand what I'm saying to you. If you feel this and you're on YouTube, please subscribe, because I want you to have a very clear understanding of why I speak about the coach that you choose and why I'm having this and relating that to this type of conversation. Some coaches focus on Walmart type businesses. You have to decide if you're a Walmart type of business. Some coaches focus on, a Macy's type of business. Some focus on a Benz type of business, and some focus on, and I changed my analogies, but on that Bugatti, on that Bugatti, that Lamborghini type of business. What type of staffing business are you? And when you define what type of staffing business you are, then your standards will be very specific about the type of coach that you work with. So it's all about you defining the type of business that you are actually running. Okay. Hey, Stephanie, I love you. I hope that was helpful for many of you in your thought process around how you're building your business out. Okay. Somebody says Strictly Rodeo Drive. Hello. All right. So I just have to, and blatantly honest, they do all serve their purpose. And that's why I said you have to define who you are. You have to define what type of culture your business is going to have. How, and this all has to do with branding, right? Because if you're a Walmart business, your branding is going to be different. Walmart's prices are low. I love Walmart, but their prices are low. Their products are cheap, right? Nothing wrong with that. There is a market and a community for that, for sure. But is that for you? Is that who you desire to be? Is that the type of staff you want to hire? Is that the type of brand you want to build around your business? If it is, go for it, because we need that in the marketplace. But if it's not, then you need to figure out where you fit into the mix, and you need to mirror that in your business. Make that a part of your business. Do you understand what I'm saying? It ain't nothing wrong with that. But I'm also going to say some other stuff, because I'm here and I'm keeping it real today. I'm keeping this probably too real. I may turn some people off, but this is who I am. Too many minorities start staffing businesses at the bottom of the totem pole. And it's very hurtful as a coach to see that. Too many staffing agencies that are started by minorities, Black people, brown people, yellow people, okay? Human beings, my people I love the most, they literally say, okay, I'm brand new, or they say, I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get a client, so I'm going to start with light industrial, or I'm going to start with customer service, or I'm going to start with admins. And then you've got this other group of people that come to me and they don't have any experience, and they're like, what's the most successful niche? Because that's where I'm going. Or I come from this industry, which is typically in a professional solutions, and they're building off of that, right? You have to define your standards. I'm telling every one of my diverse people, every one of my brown, Black, and yellow people, I have to tell you right now, you do not have to start at the bottom of the totem pole. Many of you are super bright. You're super intelligent. You can run circles around everyone that's around you. Why are you limiting yourself? Why are you lowering your standards to only deal with the low end of the totem pole? That's absurd. That's absurd. You're just as valuable as anybody else on this planet. You bring just as much value as anybody else on this planet. You do not have to start at the bottom. You do not have to start at the bottom. And I just want to share that, because you can do it just like everybody else can do it. You can start on the higher end of things just like everyone else can do it. And you need to hear that. You need to know that, and you need to hear that. And I'm going to always push that in your brain. Always push it. Always push it. Because you have more, you bring way more value than you give yourself credit for. And stop that. I want you to know who you are. Woo! So fired up over here, I tell you right now. So fired up. Chris, tell him. Hey, Chris, tell him. Aisha, tell him. Ayo, tell him. Rakit, tell him. Tiffany, tell him. I have to do it. I have to do it, because I hate seeing my people undervalue themselves. You don't have to start in light industrial. You don't have to start with admins or customer service. You don't. You can start with security. Sachin is in the UK. And this man is like, I'm doing IT cybersecurity. He didn't say warehouse or light industrial. He's not thinking small. He's thinking big. He's thinking impact. He's thinking legacy. How are you thinking, my staffingpreneurs? Hello. Just food for thought. Okay? Food for thought. Brittany says, thank you, Brittany, for the love. I love you. Does professional solutions generate residual revenue like commercial? Of course, at a higher level. Does it make sense to do commercial staffing and professional solutions? I disagree with that. Unless there is a strategy. Can I share my screen again? Y'all, I'm over here sweating. Let me tell y'all how I'm literally fired up. Put some fire if you got a fire emoji in the bank. Like, man, I'm literally fired up. Let me show you the difference, okay? I'm going to show you the difference. And, let me, I'm so fired up over here. Okay. Brittany, you about to get your foot. Girl, I'm about to show you how this thing goes, okay? So I have two calculators, right? In the commercial side of staffing, the commercial staffing uses a markup over pay rate model, right? They use a markup over pay rate model. So let me, did I share? Okay, great. So let me move some of my numbers here because I don't want to intimidate anybody here. Okay, this is a markup over pay rate model. That's at 65%. Many people in the commercial solution space start off with, because they're thinking below the line and because they don't understand how to actually negotiate a contract with a hiring manager, this is what they do. They have a job, right? This is a 45% markup. The company says, okay, this is what we're willing to pay, $20 an hour or $18 an hour, or maybe the pay rate of the employee. I would say let's take this up to 14. Let's say $15 an hour because that's what the new unemployment rate is supposed to be, right? A 45% markup over a $15 an hour pay rate is $21 an hour. You make $13.16. Your gross profit margin is 14.52 cents. And with one person on billing, you make $6,000 per year if that person stays on billing all year, right? If you've got 5 people, you make $32,000 a year. If you make 25 people, you make $164,000 a year. Now, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Some of you who think very small think, well, man, D, I'm not even making $130,000 a year. I'm good with that. I would like to encourage you to shift your thought process. I'm going to share again. Okay. We're talking, Brittany, commercial. Okay. We're talking right now. We're talking about the commercial solutions space. Hold on. My screen is frozen. Come on. I'm too fired up. Come on. Where's my screen at? Okay. I'm going to go here. Hopefully my screen will come up at some point. Let's see. Okay, there we go. All right, now we're sharing. Okay, so let me go back to my calculator here. If the same dollar amount on the commercial solution side, we have $15 an hour. I'm just going to go all the way up to a 65% markup. Okay, so it was $15 an hour, 55% markup, and now you've made $6 an hour in gross profit margin, 24%, right? And you're making $12,000 a year. You've got 5, you're making 64, you've got 25, you have $320,000 a year. Some of you are still thinking, well, D, I don't see anything wrong with that. Okay, that's fine. That is your commercial model. Let's look at the professional solutions model. Okay. This is my gross margin calculator, which is a little bit different. Okay. Oh, this is the one that's on the gym is on one of my employees. Okay, hold on. So, and we can stay with this. I hope he didn't change it too much. Okay. So with your gross profit margin, it's a little bit different, right? You're focusing on the margin, on what your margin is going to look like. So here you're going to play with your numbers a little bit. Right? So if I had $15 an hour, right there, which if you are in the professional solutions, you will never place anybody at $15 an hour. You will never place anybody at $15 an hour. You will place people at 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, $200 an hour, but not at $15 an hour. That's your commercial model. But just to give you perspective, okay? So that's $15. Let's just say 25. Nope, that margin is too low. Let's say 27. Okay, and I'm going to actually do 28. Right? So now my bill rate is $28. My gross margin is $9.41 per hour. I'm doing 33% in my gross margin because gross margin should be between 28 and 43%. Robert Half does somewhere around 43%. And I've made $19,000 for the year. I put 5 people on billing, $97,000 for the year. Hold on one second. And that's my other phone. And I put 25 people on billing. I've made $500,000. That's the same $15 an hour that I was doing on the commercial side. But as I said, in professional solutions, you will never have a salary or hourly rate so low. So let's just go on the low end. Let's say that the hourly rate is $30 an hour. And I want to do maybe an 85. No, that's too high. Let's do Robert Half numbers, 75. Let's do 70. Let's do 65. And that's Robert Half numbers right there, 65, right? So that's almost a 43% gross profit margin. You're paying your candidate $30 an hour. You're billing your client 65. You're talking about a $27 an hour gross profit margin, 42% gross profit margin. I just went all the way to the 25 people on billing. You've got 1.4 million a year. It is a difference. There is a difference. There is a huge difference. So when you're in your professional solutions space, and let me ask the second question. Does it make sense to do commercial staffing and professional solutions? Only if it makes sense, right? You want to start with one, because as I stated earlier before, professional solutions is more of your Mercedes-Benz, kind of level, a little bit of your Honda going into your Mercedes-Benz, where your commercial is more of your Pinto, going into a little bit of the Honda, right? So it just depends. It depends on your niche. Like, you don't want to do two niches that are totally against each other or that don't correlate with each other. So let's say, for example, you're doing engineering, and in engineering, you're focusing on placing quality control engineers for some type of metal parts, right? And then you said, okay, well, if we place these people all the time, those same companies also look for admins, or they also have a call center. Then maybe it would make sense. But if you're starting up, I'm going to just say this, and y'all hear me say this all the time. Brittany, this is for you too. If you're starting up as one person, you definitely don't want to have two versions. You just want to stick with one, because it's only one of you, and it takes a lot to run a full desk and be the owner of your staffing business. Okay. You only want to focus on one. You nail that one. I'm talking about nail it. And then once you nail it and it becomes second nature to you, then you start building your niche out even more. In addition, if you do a great job, your clients are going to expand your niche organically. But when you're starting out, and you're definitely starting out as 1, 2, 3 people, you want to be able to create a focus so that you can win, so that you can be a thought leader in that particular space, so that people know to come to you for staffing. People know D. Williams, staffing, right? A thought leader, a niche. So you've got to find your niche. All right. You've got to find your niche. Thank you so much for that. Io, I love you so much more. Tanisha, I love you so much more. She's rocking it out in her business. Trina, love you so much more. Y'all get it in. That's what I'm talking about. Let me just see. I miss you, Vita. Oh my God, Vita. I was thinking about you the other day. I was like, man, I don't know where Vita is. I don't know if she's in South Carolina anymore or what, but I miss you. I hope Max is doing great. And I hope the grandbaby is doing great too. I miss you very, very much so. Yep, I can. I definitely can. Give me 1 second. Aisha said fire. Yes. All right. So what do we, let me see. I'm missing all types of stuff. What do I have? All of these comments there. Hey, Latanya, Meredith is in the house. Aisha said you made your first mistake. What was your first mistake, Aisha? I want to know. I definitely want to know. Satcha said, thanks for answering my question, D. I really appreciate your thoughts. One other question, if you don't mind. In terms of building my niche, what would be the best way to do this? Would I, for example, speak to 30 candidates in my niche in Atlanta and then call 10 to 15 clients in Atlanta and then speak with another 30 candidates from my niche in New York and then call to, okay, that's a great question. What I believe that you should start building your relationships with your candidates first, right? Take the time to actually build relationships with your candidates, get to know them, your passive candidates and active candidates. And I would say roughly 50 to start off with is a great number, because if you do this right when you're building your niche out, and I'm going to just go back over here so you can see my face. But if you build your niche out right, a lot of those candidates are going to give you the referrals that you need to generate the business that you need. And because business development, it comes in 6 different phases. I teach this in my sales boot camp and my Run It course. It comes in 6 different phases. So you want your business development to not be so challenging. You want it to have a level of ease with it. So your candidates are your capital. And until people understand that, the business is always going to be harder for them. But until you understand your candidates are your capital, you have to build relationships with your candidates. It's always going to be challenging for you. So you want to start building those relationships with your candidates, asking the right questions, understanding why particular companies actually hired them in the roles. And then you're going to take that information and analyze it. And then you can define from there what organizations you want to tap into and what type of conversations you want to have to get in the door, right? And that's a high level portion of sales and business development. It's not a low level of sales and business development. You're talking about a high level. We're talking about the challenges that the company is having. We're not selling staffing. We're solving the problem that the company is having. And those are 2 totally different conversations. Hello, high five. High five. I am on fire, Meredith. Oh my gosh, I'm fired up over here. High five. Yes, I am. All right. Blatantly Honest says sometimes it's budget. Sometimes it's budget. That can be true. I love that. Okay. Funding is a good topic. D, can you touch on it? Yeah, but what do you want to know about funding? Tell me what's the question on funding, because that's a broad topic and there's so many different parts of funding when you're talking about a staffing business, right? There's so many different parts of funding when you're talking about a staffing business. Are you talking about funding payroll? Are you talking about funding the business, right? So what part of funding? And we can talk about it. Hey, Ronaldo. Hey, I'm going to PM. Okay. Yeah, you need it, Vita. You need it because I know you can rock this business out. I hope you're doing great in your business. Aisha, giving a low fee, not knowing exactly what to do. Girl, yes, I already know. It is, and all rookies do this. All rookies do it. I promise you, I feel like you are not indoctrinated into recruitment and staffing as a rookie until you have actually charged a low fee from the very beginning, right? And then you see the loss. Right? And you don't want to have that loss. You don't have to have that loss. You just have to be secure and confident in your business. Even if you're not secure and confident in your business, you have to portray that you're secure and confident in your business, because people are going to smell that a mile away. And then they're going to realize that they can take advantage of you, or maybe not take advantage of you, but they can get a quote unquote good deal, right? Like, no, you have value. You bring value. You have worth. You bring worth. And so you have to project that to your clients. Your clients need to understand it and then know that. So many of you don't have a pricing model, right? You don't even have a strong pricing model or a pricing structure or even a sheet of pricing to give out to anyone. You missed that in the setup process. You didn't even think about it in the setup process, right? Or you're not a part of a community where you can throw things off like, hey, I got this opportunity. Aisha, I think you're the young lady I spoke to. A lot of times newbies, they quote out prices right off the top of their head. I had this lady, y'all, who stole a lot of my content. This lady stole my content. and she went and created her own website telling people she started staffing businesses. And in the process of doing it, she didn't know that I knew that she had stole my content, and I was looking at her website and all of this stuff, right? And saw everything. And she literally called me and was like, oh my God, D, I think I got a contract, and I heard you in my ear the whole time. And I negotiated, I think she said a $2,000 fee or I was like, how you going to be trying to teach somebody to run a staffing agency and you don't even know how to negotiate a contract? Like, you literally made the biggest rookie move on the planet. Rookies do this all the time. They do it all the time because they don't know their worth. Okay? But you got to know your worth. And you have to understand the service that you're offering. Again, I ask you, what type of staffing business are you? Are you a Walmart brand? Are you a Macy's brand? Are you a Saks brand? Are you a Gucci brand? You've got to figure out who you are in order to create the culture of your business. Apple has a specific culture. Android has a specific culture. A Cricket has a specific culture. Put a one in the box if you understand what I'm saying to you. So you have to decide who you are. You've got to decide who you are. You've got to decide who you are. It is a game changer. Karen, it's definitely a game changer. Definitely. Okay. Now, what else? I think I done questioned y'all all out. Y'all, I don't even see any more questions up in there. Listen, I don't know if I'm too much for some of you or just enough, but I'm going to take maybe 10 more minutes if you don't mind. And I want to share some things. When people join my setup group, I ask them, what are some of the challenges that you feel like you are going to experience? What are your fears? Like, what's your challenge? Most people say that they're afraid of starting the business, right? They have just fear. Some people say that they're afraid due to COVID. They don't think that things are going to work out, due to COVID. And I say that's all an excuse to not move forward. Some people say having time to start. You've got to have time to start this business. If you're doing this business full-time, expect to put 80 hours in. If you're doing this business part-time, 20, expect to put 40 hours in. This is not a business that works on multi-level marketing hours. It requires full-time hours if you want to see real revenue in your business. So you've got to define that. Now, when you're setting up the business, sure, right? But once you get that business up and going, you've got to be able to make sacrifices. If you're working a full-time job during the day, you've got to be willing to work a full-time job, which is your business, after you get off your day full-time job. And if you're not willing to sacrifice and do this, it may not be the best business model for you. The people that you hear me talk about, Joanne and Nicole and Latasha and Stephen and Constance and Trudy and Tiffany and all of these people, they literally are working in their business every day. It is their main priority, right? Because they have a vision. They know exactly where they want to go. They have a vision. So you have to define, am I cut out for this? Do I have the bandwidth to actually do this? Another thing they say is like remaining focused. How do I stay focused, D? Like, that's all about your desire. It's all about your real desire to actually make this business come to life and to see it through. If you have a real desire to do that, then you'll stay focused. If you don't have a real desire to do that, then the next best thing is going to come along, and then you'll jump on that bandwagon, and that will really probably be your life story, right? Jumping from one bandwagon to the next. Once you figure out that this is for you, once you decide that I want to create impact, I want to create impact, I can create impact, and I'm going to create impact, then that is at that point that you go out there and you actually do it. You have to go out there and actually do it. I also hear the biggest thing that I hear is struggling to get clients. So can you put a 1 in the box if you have had a fear for getting clients? Put a 1 in the box if you feel like getting clients is challenging. Put a 1 in the box if you have a hard time getting clients now. Put a 1 in the box if you're just not sure how to get clients, how that works. I want to know, like, are you one of those people that feel some type of way about getting clients? And if so, I want to talk about it. I really want to talk about getting clients. I touched on it very lightly earlier, but I want to touch on it a little bit more aggressively now. When you're talking about sales and business development, after you have established the culture of your company and you understand what type of service, what type of quality that you're going to be giving to potential clients, the next step is understanding your niche market, right? Understanding your niche market. When you are focusing on building client relationships with building client relationships in the staffing space, I want you to think niche position first. Don't think company first. I want you to think niche position first. What is this position? What does this position entail? And what are the challenges around this position? And then once you figure that out, I want you to think hiring manager focus. Who's my hiring manager that needs to hire this role? And why do they need to hire this role? And it doesn't have to do with staffing, 9 times out of 10. It has to do with something being broken or something that needs to be created or something that is lacking or something that has a weakness in quality. It's the companies don't hire people just to hire people. They don't ever, right? A company doesn't just start and say, oh, I need to hire a person just to hire. They don't do that. Okay. Companies hire people because they have a problem, because they have a challenge, because they're building something, they're creating something, they're expanding something, they're starting something, they are revising something, right? And so your job is to find out the importance of the role and the challenges around the role and the challenges that the hiring manager is having so that you can provide the solution. Then the solution becomes staffing, finding the right person that can fix the problem. And when I said to you earlier that most people sell staffing, that's a very, in my opinion, old school and rookie move, selling staffing. When you sell staffing, it's like you're it's like when you're selling staffing, it's like you're in Chuck E. Cheese and you know how they have like all of those little air balls in there. And it's like you're throwing a pin in there and you're diving in to see if you can find the pin and that pool of balls. Like selling staffing, meaning do you need employees or we have the staff for you? It's a hit or miss kind of thing. The only people that are responding to those emails and those phone calls are people who actually have a need right now. And if you're only selling based on people who have a need right now, you're always going to reactively sell. Okay? You're always going to reactively sell. I'm not telling you not to sell staffing. I feel like it should definitely be a part of your strategy, right? But it should not be your only sales strategy. Okay? You don't just sell staffing. Okay? You have to sell the problem, the challenge. That's why when we're in my community, I tell them, create your sell sheets, create your lead magnets, create digital assets that allow people to understand that you understand the problem and the challenge that particular hiring manager is experiencing. That's why I tell you to niche, because if you're niching, then you can focus on all the specific problems that these specific types of hiring managers are experiencing. So whether they have a need right now or whether they don't, when you're putting information out there or when you're having conversations with them about the challenges and the problems, you could potentially have them create the job. They may not even realize they have a challenge until they have a conversation with you. It gives you power. Now you're functioning in a very proactive manner. You're selling in a very proactive manner. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, it's a difference. It's a difference. So you don't want to just sell staffing. You have to be able to sell the challenge that comes along with staffing. You don't want to sell people off the break. What is the problem? Why do they need to hire people? And if you can get that thought process up under your belt, it's going to be a lot easier for you to have conversations. And I'm talking about meaningful conversations. I'm talking about the conversations where people actually don't hang up on you, or where they actually don't unsubscribe from your list or tell you to stop sending you emails, but they're actually now conversing with you because you understand them. Okay. The second thing I want to say about sales and business development that's very important for you to know, you've got to understand who you're selling to. Most people don't even have a target list. You don't even understand the value of a target list or having a general leads list, right? Like, you have to understand who you're selling to and what's important to them. What's important to HR is very different than what's important to the hiring manager. What's important to the hiring manager is very different than what's important to your CFO. What's important to your CFO is very different from what's important to your CEO or your CIO. You understand what I'm saying? They all think differently, and what they value is different. The types of conversations that you're going to have with them is different. If you're talking to a CFO, you shouldn't be talking about people from the same perspective that you would talk to HR. He's interested in finances. That's the only thing he's interested in, is how the company is making money and how much money the company is spending. Your CEO is thinking about the strategic direction of the company. He's not thinking about people from that perspective, the same perspective as HR. The line manager is thinking about getting the job done and doing things to get promoted, solving the problem and getting promotion, solving the problem and getting a promotion. He's not thinking about compliance in people the way HR is. And for all of you who start with HR and your niche is not focused in HR, you're making rookie moves right off the break. I'm telling you, you're doing it wrong. I'm telling you right now, you're making rookie moves. Jay, because I'm fired up. I'm yelling because I'm fired up, because that's who I am. If you don't like it, okay? This is who I am. I'm fired up. That's why I'm yelling, okay? And I want everybody on this call to be fired up too. I want you to be fired up about your business. I want you to be fired up about your business. I'm talking fired up about your business. You've got to get into your business, and you've got to get into your business in the right way. Okay. So this is the basis of sales and business development. It's the foundation of sales and business development. Okay. So when you start to understand the foundation of sales and business development, you can start creating execution strategies the way you want to. You can start creating execution strategies the way you need to. Rookies start a business with no strategy. And I'm not talking about the strategy that you have in your mind. I'm talking about the strategy that you have literally sat down and thought about. Okay? You've literally sat down and thought about, and you've thought methodically about how you want to grow your business, how you want to connect with hiring managers, how you want to connect with candidates, how you want your brand to be presented, how you're going to utilize your marketing strategies, how you're going to utilize your marketing strategies in conjunction with your sales and business development strategies, in conjunction with your recruiting strategies. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have to think about things from that perspective. You've got to think about things from that perspective. Do you have an execution strategy? Do you have an execution strategy? Do you have one? Do you have two? Do you have three? Do you know what clients you need to call? Do you know what you're going to say when you're going to call them? Do you know what challenges that they're experiencing right now? Do you know anything about the market that your client is in? Do you know how many people, how many candidates are in that specific market? Do you know that? Do you understand how much revenue that company is generating and what their revenues has looked like over the course of the last 5 or 6 years, and how you can start the conversation and expand the conversation based on the growth and the loss of that company? Like, you have to have strategy. You are a CEO. You are a CEO. A CEO. CEOs have strategies. Do you think Jeff Bezos built Amazon with no strategies? You think he just picked up the phone one day and was like, I'm going to start selling books to random people? No, he had strategies. strategies. So you have to have execution strategies. Okay, now I got to say something because blatantly honest, I am loving your feedback today. I love your feedback because it has a level, a taste of opposition. And I love that. That's one of the things that gets me fired up, but I can also feel your energy and know that you're genuinely interested in what's being stated. Now, you say that it sounds almost impossible to do it alone. It seems you definitely need a team to be effective. If you have a team, you'll be 10 times more effective. But you can definitely do this business alone. You can definitely. So let me share a secret with you. There are many staffing agencies out here that that hire people that run full desks. They do sales and business development and recruiting. They have to do both. They hire recruiters to do this. So if they can do that, you can do it as well. Okay. Now, this is where it gets interesting. When you're setting up a staffing business, you can't rush it. Okay. You can't rush it and you can't BS your way through it. You don't want to start a staffing business and not have all your pieces in order. So that's why I tell people that it takes about 7 weeks to set up a staffing business, because you have to start thinking about who's my niche and do my research. What does my brand look like? What type of execution strategies am I creating? How do they correlate with my recruiting strategy? How do they correlate with my sales strategy? Do I have all of my legality in place and am I fully compliant? Do I understand what management reporting tools that I need in order to look at my business from a strategic perspective and to actually grow the business? Hello, I'm on fire right now, right? It's something that you have to do prior to launching your business. If you set your business up the right way, then once you actually launch, the only thing you've got to do is execute, because you've already planned everything out and built the infrastructure of your business. Right? But if you are thinking of building a staffing business from 1989, where you think all you got to do is legalize the business, get a website and a phone number, an EIN and some contracts, and you're ready to go, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. And you're not going to realize how much you're going to struggle until you start talking to clients and candidates. And they start looking at you like, what? Hello, what? You see what I'm saying? So it's all about what you're willing to put in prior to actually launching the business. What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you looking to put in? What are you looking to create? What are you looking to do before you get into business? And you're going to need funds to do it. You're going to need funds to do it. It's not a cheap business model. Okay? Because Abby, and I think blatantly honest, you asked, like, how do we get funding for payroll? You get it through a loan. You get it through payroll funding companies. You get it through companies that do, what do you call it? My brain just had a fart. Factoring. Like, there are tons and tons of different types of companies that offer funding, right? You just have to find the one that works for you. In my program, we have 2 really core funding partners. I would say 3. 4 core funding partners, and then we're always adding. Do you understand? So it really, so that's from the funding piece, but from setting up the business, I always tell people 3,000 is a bare minimum, and you're going to be doing everything freaking manually. I mean, everything manually. And that's probably still not enough, because today you need leads. You need contact information. That's expensive right by itself. You could spend $10,000 on leads if you want, right? Because if you don't purchase the leads, you're going to pay for it in time in doing the research. So either way, you're going to pay for the leads. Either it's going to be in time or it's going to be in finances. Even if you're outsourcing it to someone else, you're still paying for it. You understand what I'm saying? So that piece. Then, like I said before, your marketing and branding is a major piece of your business, because they are a part of your sales and business development strategy, you getting the client. They're a part of your recruiting and sourcing strategy, you acquiring the candidate, the talent. And some niches, it's very easy to get contracts and it's hard to get candidates to fill those roles. And then in some niches, it's very easy to get candidates and it's really hard to get the contracts. Again, this is about you understanding your niche market, okay? Blatantly Honest asks, is it smart to look into internships to help with staffing with your startup staff? Sure, but you're going to have to train them, right? So if interns, you have to train them, and you have to have a stronger level of knowledge than them in order to train them properly, especially if they're going to get college credit for or high school credit for the work that they're doing. There are guidelines around hiring interns, and I would encourage you to talk to your attorney to make sure that you are compliant within those guidelines. That's very, very, very important. Very, very, very important. Let's just see what else. So that means get that credit up. That means get that credit up. That means that, you know, you really want to, so like I work with a young lady, Tina Williams. She builds out people's business plans and then gets them microloans, right? And she's a resource in our community, right? So there are people out there that can get you financing and that can get you loans. Some people cash out their 401ks. Some people take out a loan against their life insurance policy. Some people take out, you know, they take money out of their home. Some people sell everything in their house because they just genuinely believe in what they're doing, right? It's just about who you are, what you're willing to sacrifice. And as Eric Thomas says, E.T., the hip hop preacher, how bad do you want it? Because that's the bottom line. How bad do you want it? You understand what I'm saying? So, all right. Now I have been accused of yelling. Y'all know my energy. Y'all know I stay fired up over here. And I just got off vacation. I'm still in Mexico. I don't even know if y'all can see this. Let me see if y'all can see this. I'm going to see if y'all can. I got my bikini on, so I can't stand up. Can y'all see the beach? I'm going to see if you can see the beach. Can you see the beach? Can you see the beach? Can you see the water? I don't know if you can see the water, if you can see the beach. I don't know if you can see the water or the beach, but that's where I'm at. And now that I'm all finished being fired up, I'm about to go sit at the beach, drink a glass of wine, and prepare for my my scale up call. So y'all be ready, my scale up group. I love each and every one of you. Oh, really quickly, there were a few people that asked, how do we join the academy? Okay, and I don't want to leave without saying that. Go to staffingpreneursacademy.com. Staffingpreneursacademy.com. Let me see if I have another one of these on here. Thank you. Okay. Staffingpreneursacademy.com. And I have free information for you. I have a setup course for you. And most of you probably need to be in the setup course before you ever make it to the run it course so that you can actually ensure that your foundation is set up properly. So that's why I tell people all the time when they're like, D, I'm already set up. I always say, go back to the setup and make sure you're fully set up so that you can ensure that your foundation is fully laid out. The one thing you don't want to do is start without a fully fleshed out foundation. Your launch date should not take place until your business is completely set up and compliant. Once your business is completely set and compliant, it is at that moment that you set your launch date and that you truly launch. And when you do that, if you do it properly, I promise you, your launch will be with so much ease and you'll be able to go in and rock it out and get your clients and your candidates right away and start generating revenue. There are people who generate revenue in their first week, their first 2 weeks, their first 3 weeks, their first month. The difference between the people who do and the people who don't is this mindset. Okay. It's their ability to believe, to know that they have the ability to do it. And if nobody has told you this before, I'm telling you now, you can do it. You just have to know that you can do it. You can do it. All right. I love y'all. I'm out. You can't build a skyscraper with a regular house foundation. There you go. It's been stated. Know that it's been stated. I love y'all. Thank you for attending my live. I'll see y'all next month. It'll be a new year, 2021. I know y'all ready for 2021 because I am. Y'all have a great day. I love y'all. Mwah. Thank you so much. Bye. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe.